Hello. Year after year, your school counselors attempt to inform you about what makes you unique and what makes you uniquely special. What does that mean, unique? It can mean one of a kind, not common. And that's what you are. More often than not, one of a kind. Even twin brothers and sisters think differently and feel differently and sometimes even speak differently. So, just because we look the same doesn't mean that we are the same. Just because we're in the same grade doesn't mean that we feel the same way about our work. Just because we have some of the same friends doesn't mean that we feel as happy at recess as others. These are problems that can be remedied. What's a remedy? A way to feel better. And that is what we're going to talk about today. Because there is no doubt in my mind, or the minds of those of us that are adults or have lived a good long life over the last few years, that trouble will sometimes creep its way into your life. And trouble can look a number of different ways. Sometimes trouble can be a math problem that is not too simple, not too difficult, but still unable for you to solve, right? That's a bit of trouble. Sometimes we spill a drink on a carpet and we've made a mess. And that is a bit of trouble. But the trouble we are going to highlight today, and when I say highlight, I mean focus in on, is the trouble that seems to come when we don't feel good about ourselves. And that can happen. Oftentimes, those types of negative feelings, and remember, negative takes away from something where a positive adds to it. So negative feelings about ourselves, if not remedied, if there's something not going on to make things better, can make things worse. We do not want to wait too long to get the help that we need when we don't feel quite right. And that is what we are talking about today. So what can we do when we don't feel quite right? There is the challenge. More often than not, asking for help can be stressful, right? And when I say stressful, what I mean is it makes things difficult for you to share how you feel with others. So, I'm not feeling too good and I need to tell somebody about it, and now I might be worried about what they'll say, what they'll think, if I'm going to use the right words, things like that. And those little things are what we want to somewhat set aside as we work towards our remedy, right? Towards that thing that's going to make us feel better. And that's what we're going to be discussing today with our 3 T's for when times get tough. We'll move into a short presentation on that, and then we will follow up with some examples of what was discussed during the presentation. Part of that presentation does center on a key concept, a key idea, a key note that we have discussed over the years and even throughout this year, right? Which is the ability to calm yourself by taking deep and what we sometimes call clarifying breaths. And when we take a deep or clarifying breath, what we want to do is go in through our nose like this and slowly out from our mouth like this. If you want to make things a bit fun, you can pretend like you're sniffing a bowl of soup, right? My favorite soup is cheddar and broccoli. Kind of stinky, but extra cheesy. And so I would sniff my soup to take a deep breath. And then I would slowly blow on my soup to allow it to cool. 2 ways in which you can take deep breaths. Now let's go ahead and slip into our presentation about our 3 T's for when times get tough. And as we continue our discussion on 3 things for when times are tough, let's not forget we are not alone in experiencing tough times. Tough times might include times when you have been sad for too long, times when you feel bad but you don't know why, or times when it seems like no one notices you or your feelings. Tip number 1. Tell a trusted adult about how you feel. Examples of a trusted adult might include your parents, your teachers, a counselor, aunts or uncles, your grandmother, or even our school principal. Tip number 2. Take time to calm yourself. For example, ask your teacher for a brain break. Go to the restroom or fill your water bottle. Maybe drop a book off in the library. Take 3 deep breaths, in through your nose and out from your mouth. Take a sip of water. Wait 3 seconds to swallow. Then repeat this step. That'll equal 2 steps. Or try focusing on one object or item in the room and counting back from 10. Tip number 3. Trust that things will improve if you have completed steps 1 and 2. Remember, we can feel better when times are tough, and you can use these strategies throughout your school day and also at home. Times are tough, but that doesn't mean that we're alone or don't have what we need to make those times better. And so, with careful consideration for yourself, how you feel, and who it is that can help you when you don't feel as good as you should, you will be prepared for those times of toughness that we've discussed today. Now, as we finish up this activity, there is one more data piece that I would like each of you to complete. This will also be in your Google Classroom, and it is the student assessment of coping skills. This will allow us as Fort Worth ISD to take the information that you provide and figure out where it is that we might be able to add student services and deliver interventions or supports that help our students to feel better throughout the school day and even at home. So, if you go into your classroom, click on the assignment, and then complete it, you will be done with our guidance activity and lesson for today. Remember who your trusted adult is, and if you don't have one, use me. Have a great rest of the day.
Yes, Michael.
Mr. Austin, may I please use the restroom?
Yes, you may, Michael.
Thank you.
Well,
USMC.
Counselor.